So hello everyone and welcome to Loving the Moon again. I think this is our podcast number 7. I'm pretty certain it is. It's number 7, but we're not going to be talking about 7 today. I'm Peter Lancett and with me is Julie Grint as usual. You can say
Hello.
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 There you
Thank
go.
you very
Well
much.
said. Otherwise, I'll be talking all the time like I usually do, and nobody will know you're there. I'll just have to. Although they could see you, couldn't they? If you're watching it on YouTube or Spotify, you would be able to see that you were there.
It doesn't matter if I don't speak because we're going to be talking about some kind of
Stuff.
expression of the universal act of communication, are we not today?
Yes, we certainly are, because we're calling this episode 8 o'clock in the autumn. The reason, and this is kind of strange, we did this, we recorded it, and the recording was so poor, and we did this when it was pretty much coming up to autumn, wasn't it, last year?
Mm.
And now we want to go through it again, even though we're literally stepping into spring now. This being the last day of February in 2025. So
Yes.
tomorrow is the beginning of spring, and we've actually got sunshine here. Unbelievable in England, but there you go. And I'm climbing Kinder Scout tomorrow, and I was expecting it to be pouring with rain, but it's not. It's going to be like this, sunny. But I digress. We're calling this episode 8 o'clock in the autumn. And why? I'll just remind you, Julie, that this came to me and a while back. Why does 8 o'clock always feel like I'm having a hot chocolate and everything's relaxing sort of end of the day? It's really cool. It's like it's a fantastic moment in the day. And then why does Thursday feel like that? Why does October feel like that? And so we started linking them all together. And obviously the month of October, we're well into the autumn, and we're pretty much, centralizing where we are at that time. We know that we're going to run into, in a couple of months, the winter, but there are times to relax and let go and just not feel stressful. And that happened all the time. 4 o'clock in the afternoon can be very similar. If you don't work, if you're not in a 9 to 5 job where you're distracted, 4 o'clock can feel very similar too. But 8 o'clock in the evening, and especially if it's like autumn and winter when it's dark outside, and it's like you're in your own little cave. And there are lots of things that are very natural and rhythmic about that. So that's why we were going to talk about it, because where are you in the moon phase at this point? I wonder. I mean,
We know
if
where we are.
we do know where we are, it's a new moon today, isn't it?
It is indeed. Yes. Yes.
So we're not going there because we did
No.
that. We did that last time.
But when you said to me all that time ago, when you said to me, "Oh, Julie, 8 o'clock, autumn, like October," and as soon as you said it, it was like, oh, something triggered inside of me. It's
Mm.
like almost like it was a knowing, and there was some kind of affiliation to it. I couldn't put my finger on it, but it made sense.
I have to say that I haven't read this anywhere. This is something that literally just triggered me. It came from nowhere. It came from inside. And it was like a voice, yeah, this is that. It's like this every night when you haven't got anything to do, and you notice it's 8 o'clock. It's pretty cool, isn't it? It's like, yeah, right. Yeah, I should be playing some really relaxing jazz in the background, but no, but I don't. And and then it occurred to me that other things that were like 3/4 of the way through a phase or something like that, between 3/4, 2/3, whatever, but coming to after the halfway point in any kind of time phase was like that. Thursday started. It's like, why does Thursday feel just like round and nice? Like, whereas Wednesday feels like jagged and let's go, you know. Uh, and it does to me, and I'm not so sure why, but there are things about it. So I started thinking, well, what can I do at that time? What's great about this? And it literally was an idea for not just chilling out, but
Mm,
reflection.
mm. And that's what the moon helps us do so very well,
Mm,
doesn't it?
yeah.
Um, and really, that time, that 8 o'clock, that moment in the evening, and the feelings that we get with that, the things that we want to do at that time, that kind of reflection as well. It's very much representative of that autumn phase, isn't it, in
Yeah.
nature?
I mean, if you could stay at that time of day, at that time of the year, on a Thursday or whatever, I would. I would be forever autumn. Well, Justin Hayward would be, wouldn't he, in War of the Worlds, but not me. But I do like it. I do like it. You know, I like, and I get images at that time of autumn as well. Now that I've made this link, so I can see like those golden yellow and bronze leaves all over the pavement, all over the garden and everything. I love that. I
Mm,
really like that. You know, we talk quite often of letting things go, you know, especially in the waning moon phase, letting go, letting go. Well, you'd have to say that this 8 o'clock autumn also relates to that second half of the moon, particularly that the beginning, to me, it's like coming up to and during the beginning of the final quarter.
yeah.
It's a bit like that to me. So I associate that autumn equinox with this time as well. So what do we get from an equinox? What does it actually, what happens to nature in an equinox? What do we see? We see the the sun, like the daylight hours and the darkness are the same length of time, don't we? It's equal. Well, equinox is Latin, equal night. Doesn't mention day. It just means that the day is equal to night at that point, equinox. And we get it again in the spring, don't we? So we have that when when are we talking? Around about the 21st, 22nd of September for the autumn one.
Mhm.
And you know, at that point we're really starting to move into the autumn. We know that things aren't digital, and autumn does not begin on the 1st of September exactly. Just like tomorrow, spring doesn't necessarily start exactly on the 1st of March. But having said that, it's been pretty good for the last week or so here. I've felt like it's spring and grass is growing on the lawn and everything outside. So I think it's like the nature's saying, well, you know, the spring is happening. We don't have to wait for you idiots to say it's the 1st of March.
But that's what I love about nature, you know, and especially the moon, you know,
Mm,
that we get to experience the seasons all of the time. We don't have to just, it's not just, we're not, everything isn't just spring at spring, is it? We can
no.
still experience aspects of summer, winter, autumn within that season.
Mm. Well, I always think that, you know, we are quite capable of associating the full moon phase, let's say that 29 and a half days, whatever it is, you know, we can associate that with a full solar year,
Mm,
even.
mm,
It's like there's a ring within a ring within a ring, and instead of being rings, it's actually a spiral.
mm.
And it'll go to infinity at the top and infinity at the bottom, and we're somewhere in between.
Yeah. And what does that number 8 look like, seeing as we're on the subject, if you flip it on
Oh,
its side?
yeah, flip it on its side, knock it over, and basically you've got the symbol that represents infinity. We've seen that many, many times, and we have. I mean, it's interesting that you mention like the number again, number 8. Now, if you are an occultist, you'll already know this. And you won't find a lot of this stuff online. I would not go. Actually, it could be interesting for you to do it and see what speaks to you and what doesn't if you went online. If you do a search now, AI comes up with the answers, doesn't it? And while, you know, AI is definitely the way that the world's going, and it's not my thing, but it's the way the world's going, we have to be a little careful because it can be a bit lazy as well in the
Can
way
be a
that
bit lazy. It can be a bit choice as to what information it wants to give you as well.
and that's the problem because um, I think it was yesterday or the day before, there were already news items about AI lying.
Ooh.
Literally, and people were saying it's lazy. It's just trolling out the first thing it says and telling you this is the answer to your question in lots of areas. Now, even before I would have said, given my background and my experience in these matters, that trawling the internet for, magic, mystical, occult knowledge is going to set you back a little bit. You'll find things that you'll think, oh yeah, this is the truth, but is it?
Mm.
There are books that are great. The one by Eliphas Levi in the 19th century, and he goes through the number sequence, but he does make mistakes on purpose, so that if anybody got hold of his book that didn't understand what the truth of it was, they would be led down the wrong path. But there are hints at where he should have put things. So he put 0, for example, in between 20 and 21. I'm not going to go through the reason for that because we're here to talk about 8. But if you look at the numbers, like a number sequence is, number symbols are the language of the cosmos. They are the language of all creation. They represent a natural rhythm. And 1 is the beginning, 9 is the end for us. 0 cannot be in a sequence because it doesn't exist. It means no thing. It means a lot more as well, but we're not going to go into that. So what does 8 mean? 8, the big word in occult knowledge that represents the number 8 is rhythm. Now, what do we constantly talk about, Julie, when we're doing these podcasts about the rhythm of nature, and how we should align with those rhythms of nature? It means periodicity. It means that, so that we're talking about an aspect of time, a period of time. It means that we look at rhythm in terms of period. If you just hitting your drum any old way you like, I mean, it will sound like you're insane, won't it? A little bit. But to actually carry all of the rest of the music that you belong to with you, you have to create that period of drum rhythm. Alternation is another aspect of this word, alternation. So you go from one to another, up, down, left, right. Your life alternates. If it doesn't, how would your life be? If you were going in one direction all the time with everything, you would die pretty soon. And you'd be insane before that happened. I like people to think about that, because that's not a joke, and it is true. You have to have other aspects within your life, however small they are. But there'll be alternation within it. Oh, today I'm wearing red socks, tomorrow I'll wear grey ones. Anything can be an alternation. The thing is to notice it and realize that, hey, we can turn this into some kind of rhythmic pattern. When you do that, and the moon will help you to do it.
Do you mean also, Pete, about having, it's the journey, it's the bit in between, because it's like the phase between the full moon and the new moon. It's all right, yeah, we have these peaks, we have these troughs. It's like, we all want to reach a destination, but it's the journey, isn't it? It's the bit that's going on in between, and that's what this 8 p.m, this autumn, this Thursday is representative of.
And it definitely is. And for me, this period, this Thursday, 8 p.m, whatever you like, whichever aspect of it, whether the big day, Thursday, or whether it's just that hour in the evening, or whichever it is that you're using, to me, this is a time where you don't have to feel you're in a race. Your life's journey does not have to be full throttle. This is a chance for you to just take your foot off the gas a little bit. Flux and reflux, education, culture, they're all represented by this number 8 in occult circles. The occult in understanding would also say that it represents a response of your subconscious mind to everything that's explained in the number 7. But we're not talking about the number 7. And I'm not going to go through occult numerology here on this podcast today, but I just want to make sure that people do understand that everything is linked in a pattern, and that's where we are. And if we can use the number 8 to just reflect, when you've got things that, what does creation consist of? One field of energy, the one thing, the one life power. These are other occult sayings as well, but they're true, and they are. And even now, as we get further and further and further into mathematical cosmology, the cosmologists, the mathematicians, they're all coming up with this. Hang on, the way we can start like creating mathematical patterns that represent subatomic aspects of creation, we're starting to find out that we're not separate things. We're all part of the same thing. It's starting to look that way now. Even some mathematicians will say that this is what we're discovering, and this is how it's looking. So it's very interesting that we have that, and that's very, very natural to me. But when we have these things that look separate, and you'd get that from the number 2, by the way. I just thought I'd mention that. But when we have those, understanding that we are at one with nature and we can flow with nature's rhythms, having that number 8, having that 8 o'clock at night when you're in your own journey, to reflect on the fact that, it doesn't have to be hardcore all the time.
I love that.
What are the things that I really like? What I enjoy? What should I do tomorrow that I enjoy, instead of like being tense and doing things and feeling like I've got so much to do? Talking to you here, Julie, because you're the busiest person I know.
My 8 o'clock is my harvest time. You see,
That's
that's
a great.
it.
How good is that? Yeah, because let's face it, autumn. We're coming. We're in harvest time there. I know harvest for different aspects of agriculture starts earlier in the year, but this is where the fruit comes down, especially for us in the northern hemisphere here, England, Northern Europe, and so on. This is when our fruit trees, our pear trees and our apple trees give way. I mean, we don't grow bananas, do we? So that's not going to happen. That's funny. Do you know if we could alter 40% of our DNA, we could turn ourselves into bananas?
Just 40%.
Just 40%. By altering 1%, you could become a dolphin. Reflect on that one. But we're not going to do that, are we? Actually, so 40 can be divided by 5. Do you know that people talk about, maybe we should do something on numbers at some point? I'll show you how to use it and how to use them. It's interesting. We do that.
Please.
But yeah, we're looking at what we can do. I always think that around this 8 o'clock time, the Thursday day, or the 8 o'clock time, or whatever, whenever you find it, remember the 8 o'clock turns up every single day.
It does.
We like to link it with these other things, other aspects of nature, but they're always there. We talk about this, the rhythm of the moon in this 29-day cycle, but that maps to the sun's 1 year solar cycle, or our 1 year solar cycle, and so on. They all map together. So we can do it. We can experience this 8 o'clock autumn, 3/4 of the way through the moon phase. What does that mean to us? We can put all of that together in one period. Would you say that you can just imagine 8 o'clock in the evening and being 8 o'clock in the autumn at any time of any day and still have that connection with the rhythm?
Yes, I would.
I would too. We all have that ability because it's all inside us. And I think that since we've created a clock and we've created a calendar, those points are there to remind us that nature's rhythm is not discrete, it's not digital, it's a flow, and enjoy it. This is like going to one of those spa baths where they have very salt water that's warm and you just float. You literally just float. I think 8 o'clock's like that.
I love that. I'm definitely up with the hot chocolate bit.
Yeah, me too. Me too. But that,
But
that, and that's the thing.
it's just these reminders, isn't it? And what we're doing here through these conversations is just highlighting all the possibilities, all the options. And this is just one of those ways that you can build a practice into your life where you can get back in rhythm with your natural rhythms and cycles. So it could be something that you do weekly. You could run through the week as your moon phase, your
Yeah,
moon cycle. You could run through a 24-hour day and have that as your moon phase.
that's the one.
Or you can do it through the lunar phase. So there's all these different ways of working with it, and it's about finding out what works best for you. And maybe it changes periodically because you find you have different needs in different seasons, and therefore, or something is occurring in your life that you require more support with. Perhaps you're struggling with some kind of relationship issue, or there's some grief or something like that, and therefore, especially with things like grief, this 8 o'clock autumn season would best serve you, because it's very much about that letting go, about that reflecting, and giving yourself that time and space to release, and prepare yourself for the winter, which is where you can then start your new beginning.
New beginning, yeah, and allows whatever's new to start to germinate there without being under any pressure. It's in the dark, it's hidden, nobody can put pressure on it, and it will come out when it's ready. And can I just ask you this as well? This idea of things can change. If you were going through an experience that was very negative, personal experience, a relationship thing, or even let's take it even further and say something that's traumatic. Do you feel that you could put yourself in this 8 o'clock in the autumn place, however, whatever that feels like to you, and stay with it, no matter as the moon is still going through its phases and the earth's going around the sun, and you stay there with that for as long as you need to, knowing that the moon and the sun and all the rhythms of nature are reminding you that this is a real thing and you can choose how long to live with it. Do you think that can work?
I think that can work.
Me too. Yeah, I think so too. And remember, everything else in nature is reminding you that while you're staying still for a while, you're doing that to reconstruct yourself in a way that allows you to then stay back into that natural rhythm only when you're ready.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then
Absolutely.
it is a space in nature that is part of a moving cycle, but feels as though you're not having to move, that you can just relax with it and enjoy it.
And this is it, and we touched on this last time, I believe, Pete, about that stopping, being able to stop, being able to
Yeah.
pause. And whilst you may stand still, if you like, your emotions, that emotional aspect of you is what needs to move. And
And
that will
that's what,
continue.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. That's exactly because, yeah, while you're not focusing on something external, you're still allowing the rhythms of nature to get your emotional place back in shape. Yeah, that I love that. That's
Beautiful.
smashing.
Yeah.
Well done. I mean, I I hadn't thought of it that way, but those words were spot on for me. That's exactly how it'll work. Because it isn't standing still, is it? With standing
No.
still, if you're standing still, you're dead. You're
We,
flatlined.
we we can't. I mean, we can stand still, but we're never standing still. Everything is still in this perpetual cycle. There's motion everywhere, and the
Mm,
seasons. No matter what we do, if you stop for the day, the nature won't stop.
no, no, it couldn't, because if it did, the creation, existence, all of existence would no longer exist. Well, it wouldn't, would it?
I
That's
wouldn't.
the whole.
I
That's the
can't
whole
even
point.
put my mind to that.
But it is the truth. It is the way things are. If you look, well, if you look at the idea of creation, Again, let's go into something occult. What people probably have come across things like this. The idea that when something exists, then it no longer is divine. This very still aspect of whatever you want to call it, whether you want to call it God, the creator, the source. Source is what I put on my food, but I can't help doing that. I don't know why. It always triggers me when people say source when they're talking about, the creator. And that's my problem. It's not theirs. I have to say it's mine. I always start thinking of HP or something. For anybody that's not British, that's a source. But it's not the source of
Not
all
the
creation.
source, yeah.
No. But that aspect, if you look at the Kabbalah, which is a tree of life that goes through all aspects of creation, taking us down into this third dimension that we're in. So at the top is Keter, the crown, Malkuth, which is here, the earth. So from Keter to Malkuth, and there's this zigzag shape across, and there's 22 connecting lines, and Sephiroth, which are the circular globular aspects of it. But right at the top is Keter. Keter is not God. It is not the creator. It is the first aspect of creation. I am sending out an idea that I've had. That's what this thing behind there, God, source, whatever, the great architect of the universe, if you're a Freemason or whatever, Masonic language literally does go back a long way into, and it does fit in with a lot of occult stuff. There were times where they were the same thing. I mean, there are branches off now, I'm sure, but again, we won't go into that either. But that thing will have an idea that comes to it that it puts into action. And there it exists. Now, how many dimensions are there? Limitless, I would say. And if you're an occultist, you would say this, it's limitless. So what are the phases that we go through? But that process from Keter to Malkuth, this creation, it can't stop. There is nowhere that it stops. And then there are these people who want to raise their vibration because they want to go back to the source or whatever. Well, if that's your journey, good luck. You won't make it. You can pause and think about that one sometime, because the source is infinite and you're vibrating. When your vibration level gets so high that it becomes infinite, you're no longer vibrating. Well done. But here's the other thing. If your vibration goes lower, if you lower your vibration, you're becoming evil. But if you lower your vibration, you'll lower it and lower it and lower it until guess where it becomes? Infinite. So you've reached the source again, either way, in either direction. So when people say that being a nasty murderer is lowering their vibration, well, you're still on the same path. No, but you have to be choosing the path. I think that nasty people aren't choosing to lower their vibration to find their way back to the source of all creation. Whereas people who choose to raise theirs, at least they are. I just thought I'd put that one out there. But, it's not a straight line. The journey isn't a straight line. It's a circle. So you can go one way, raising your vibration. You can go the other way, lowering it. But you're not going to go like there. You're going round in the circle because you're going to both meet at that equal point of, how the heck did we get onto that nonsense? We're talking about loving the moon, aren't we? Well, the moon is a circle to us when we look at it, when it's a full moon. Whew. I'll stop now. You were supposed to shut me up when I do things like that.
I can't. I love listening to you. You're full of information. It's incredible.
And drivel. Incredible. And rubbish. But no, it is to me, like, coming back, I always think that if you really want to use this 8 o'clock in autumn thing, it doesn't matter what time of the year it is, a cave is a great place to reflect, where the
Mm,
outside world has nothing to do with you.
yeah.
Find a space where you can do it. You know, if you have your own bedroom, there you go. If you want so rich that you have spare rooms in your house, then you could set one up to do it. Somewhere where you can be comfortable, where you can. I wouldn't play stuff that I like Iron Maiden and anything that's as harsh as that. I do love it, but this isn't the music for that time. If you're going to play music in the background, play something that's chill out stuff for you.
Mm.
Yeah.
I have my fireplace in my lounge, which is my little altar. I have
Oh, that's great.
some candles, some sage, some crystals.
Yeah.
That's where I sit in the evening, come 8 o'clock, and it's meditation time, it's journal time, it's downtime. And this is a really great way to really kind of, well, as you say, reflect, but also empty out,
Mm.
let go of the day,
The day,
um,
yeah.
but reap the benefits of that day as well, and harvest.
What were the good aspects of today?
Exactly. Take forward those and allow yourself the opportunity to release the things that you don't want to take forward into the next day.
Here's a thought. Create this triangle, and on the bottom, there is the big thing, self-mastery.
Mm.
On the left of the side of the triangle is observation. On the right side is communication. And score yourself each day out of 10. How was I in observing what's going on around me with other people within the world, and discovering the truth of it? How well did I do it, or did I just let it fly by as like we mostly do? Did I manage to observe the world? Did I manage to observe my connection with other people? Did I manage to connect to see other people connecting with each other? How did I see the world? How did I observe the world close to me? And if you're watching the news, how did I observe what was going on? Score yourself out of 10. Was I mindful enough to be observing? Because this is a mindfulness exercise in a way, On the right-hand side, you're looking at communication. How did I communicate with anybody today? And if you staying on a retreat where you're communicating with nobody, how did I communicate with myself? What was my self-talk? How well did I communicate? Did I get my message over when I was talking to somebody? By the way, I'm only giving you headlines here. Meditate on these and see how far you can go with them, and what you can do. You have to learn not to be judgmental about things that you observe. And from there, that triangle becomes better and better. Did you master your emotions? Isn't that interesting?
It's very interesting. And
But
how many of us go through our day, you know, creating those reactions in other people because we're so not aware of
yeah.
ourselves. We're holding on still to everything. We're not giving ourselves the time to sit and reflect and let go and be still.
And it's worth finding out which mask you're wearing. We all
Mm.
wear masks.
Yep, we do.
If you, I know this is very little to do with the moon, but it has really, because the moon does give us this aspect of time where we can do this reflection. But it's, if you go into a room and think, I've got to wear this mask on, I've got to look like this and seem like this because I want all of these people to like me. And none of them are wearing masks. If you think that you're the only one wearing a mask in the room, you're a narcissist because you think it's all about you. If you think that you're the only person that has insecurities, you're a narcissist. If you think that the room that you just walked into, nobody else has got these insecurities, if they look confident, they're probably wearing a mask so that because they want people to see them as confident. I'm not joking here. It's 100% the truth, that one is. So we should look at the masks that we wear. How do we present ourselves to the world, and what are we really like inside? What are our real values?
And maybe that's what this time could be about, couldn't it, for
That
everybody? Just
mm,
to take the mask off. You've had
That's
it
what
on all day, take it off.
I think that's a great thing that, for you to say that, because this is a good point. You make yourself your little cave. You talked about sitting by the fire, you know, having candles and incense for me is perfect. Not everybody's cup of tea, but it is for me. Being in the dark, if it's still, in midsummer when it's still daylight at 8 o'clock, close the curtains or the blinds, whatever you need to do. Put a mask
Close
on.
my eyes.
Yeah, close your eyes and put one, those like meditation masks on. Whatever you need to do, and do things like that. It's a great way of looking at what the rhythms of nature can do, and they're not all done in small little chunks. You can decide how the rhythm flows. The great one, when we're not having to deal with anything, for us, is to follow that rhythm of the moon. But we can step out of it, provided we're still doing the up and down flow, and we're doing it naturally without any digital aspect. We're not creating separation. We're stepping back into the one thing that all of creation is.
Yeah. So how else can we use that time? For me, in the work that I do, it's very much about utilizing the body. So something else that I bring into my journaling is use that time every evening to become aware of your physical self. It's a time perhaps where you can, reflect on how you've been feeling during the day. If you've got physical symptoms, noticing, what's occurring for you. Because often, as we're going through life very fast, we miss the clues that our body gives us.
Yeah, we do.
And that's when we can fall into a trap of manifesting dis-ease because we're not paying attention. So we could use that time for a health check to check in with our bodies.
When you do certain like meditational things, and you're asked to lie back, and you've got your mask on and everything, and they go through all this thing, your scalp is relaxing, your eyelids are relaxing and everything. How about this? Get in touch with yourself. Don't you? And just let them relax. And if some part of you finds it difficult, sit with it until it does. If you've been having like little aspects of pain, which sometimes you get, and there's nothing physically wrong with you, and what is your unconscious mind using your body to try to get your attention with? And you just say, well, what did that mean? I've been having this pain in my shoulder for no reason, and I never normally get it. What's all that? Why is that? And just ask. But I wouldn't say why. You could with that one. I always say, well, what is it you're telling me? What am I being told by this? What needs my attention fixing on it?
Love that. Or what is the habit that I've got that is perpetuating this that I need to stop doing?
But it could be a habit, couldn't it?
Yeah.
It could be as simple as that. So again, this is a good time of the day to do it, because for some reason there's a very easy energy at that time. And all you've got to do is allow yourself to connect with it. And if you're busy at that time, notice that time if you can, and then suggest that I'm going to bring the energy of this time into a later part of the evening when I have finished what I'm doing and I'm relaxed. How about that?
Love it.
You can create this cave in your own head as well. If you haven't got a physical space to do it, you lie in bed before you go to sleep and create it there. I would suggest that you throw an image into your head of a clock at 8 o'clock to trigger that energy of relaxation and ease, where you can go through all the things you want to go through. If you struggle to sleep, by the way, that will work. And it does every time. You just practice that one and it will. You see the 8 o'clock clock face, and then you just lie there and you go through all the things that you want to go through, whether it's the physical things, the emotional things, the great things, whatever, taking it easy. Imagine yourself with a cup of hot chocolate. If you're lying in bed, you're not going to have one. Well, you'll tip it all down your front, won't you? But
and then, because you're moving into that, if we liken the next stage of that evening to the winter, to the new moon phase, that time of, introspection and visualization, you're going to be sleeping. There's the potential for dreaming. There's a way to program yourself or set an intention for that cycle as you sleep.
Which I think is the way to get things done without it being hard work. 8 o'clock is about it not being hard work.
Yes.
The number 8 is about it being not hard work. It's natural rhythm. Yes. Natural rhythm is never hard work.
No. And health is simple, is it not?
The most simple thing that we have. It's just as human beings, for whatever reasons, and we won't go down the whole road of it, we've turned it into a nightmare.
Yeah.
We've turned it into a nightmare. You and I don't take pills, do we? We don't take drugs and God knows what else. And yet, here we are, healthy as anything. I mean, I am going to die one day, but then so does everybody.
Yeah. Be cheerful.
Reasons to be cheerful, folks. 1, 2, and 3. Hello, Ian Drury. God bless you, mate, wherever you are now.
Yeah.
But it's, them were the days. But, that's, for me, we linking the moon with the rhythms of nature. And what we don't want to do is miss out on that part of the rhythm that is just relaxing, blissful, comforting, chilled out, where we can really just enjoy thinking about things without them being painful and without them causing us stress.
It's okay. It's okay for things to be easy. It's okay to enjoy that. And in the words of Harvey Biggleson, who I love, health is simple, people are complicated. So take the pressure off and enjoy yourselves.
Yeah. And you know what? With that, that's a great way to end this. So what I'm going to do is say, good night, everybody. Enjoy yourselves. If it's night at all where you are, 8 o'clock at night, you know what I mean? And we'll just say, we'll see you next time. I don't know what we're going to talk about next time because I had meant to work that out, but guess what? I haven't done it yet, but we will be talking more about the moon, more about health, happiness and well-being. So enjoy your lives, everyone. Take it easy. And it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me.
Bye-bye now.